Thank you for joining us wherever you are. This podcast episode is brought to you by the Old Ways Actual Play team. This actual play uses the Delta Green tabletop role-playing game rules by Arc Dream Publishing. This actual play is performed by adults and in an adult setting. Listeners should know that this podcast will include mature themes and scenes. All content, including names, places, events, companies, military organizations, and etc., which may bear resemblance to entities living, dead, or redacted, is completely coincidental. My name is Michael Diamond, and for tonight's game, I will be your handler. Thank you for joining us again on another episode of the Old Ways podcast. I'm your handler this evening, Michael Diamond, and we are back with operations with OCEL, and we'll see what they get to operate on tonight. So as we like to do at the top of the show, we'd like to thank you, the listener, and especially you, the Patreon supporter. If you've not had a chance to check out what we offer on Patreon, you can at patreon.com/theoldwayspodcast. We're also available over on YouTube, so you can go over and jump into our Delta Green playlists, hear all of the preludes that OCEL has done, including all of their work through the Night Floors, the previous operation, which went completely perfectly well with no notes. And now we'll get to introductions. To my right.
Hey, this is Miranda, and I play Dr. Aaron Weber, lover of birds, a self-proclaimed ornithologist, and I'm really not liking where this whole sacrificing birds thing is going, and like the maybe we have to do that thing part, but like maybe not mine, maybe just find some pigeons or something.
You do like birds. You have some birds too. Anyway, to Dr. Weber's right.
Hi, I'm your friend Nate. I'm playing Elliot Winters, special agent for the U.S. Department of State, cleaned up, covered in stinging scratches, and have been summoned back to the Garretson mansion. Give our contact, Bloomfield, some cover. The local police department.
That is correct. We'll see how that goes for you. To Agent Winters right.
Hi, this is Allie, and I play Agent Joanne Hart. And no one liked my idea about blowing up this building too, and I look like a monster.
Maybe they liked it in secret and just weren't ready to share it with others. That could possibly be. Or perhaps you are crazy. Last but most certainly not least.
Hi, my name is Tegan Gilbert, and I play Young Buck Brett Hawking of the NCIS. And I'm pretty sure Debbie Baby's in them walls.
Are you? Look forward to seeing if you're right. Let's pick it up with the aforementioned Agent Winters as he heads back to the Garretson mansion in Red Hook.
I'm going to head back to my apartment.
Oh, okay. Apartment first? What are we doing in our apartment?
I'm at least changing my shirt. And if I have to, I'll change everything. If my pants are also bloody and...
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I'm a full change, a uniform. I'm going to go in the bathroom. I did take a shower already, but probably gel up the hair and comb it back and all that good business. And then I'm going to go to the Garretson mansion.
Okay. You clean up. It takes you maybe, let's be honest, 25 minutes at most. You've already showered. Really, what you're doing is changing clothes, doing your hair, making sure you look professional like you're supposed to. And you're making sure that, there's not any excess blood on your coat, or maybe you change the coat. Yeah, you change the coat. You make sure that you're clean going in. But the Garretson mansion isn't terribly far. And so that does help you get to the scene in a relatively expeditious fashion. There is some good news as soon as you arrive, just visually. One, there's no more EMS. The fire truck is gone, and there's no, we'll say, uniformed police there that you see. You do pick up, given your experience, that there is a four-door Caprice that's not too terribly far. It looks like it's got its headlights on and the engine's running. That's nearby. The construction trailer light is on, and you can tell there's probably somebody moving around in it. You're hoping that that's Bloomfield.
I think that would be my destination. I go to the construction trailer first, assuming this detective's car that's running is empty. So I'll take a peek at that, but I'm going to go right towards the trailer, knock on the door, and then walk in.
Okay. You do notice that the house itself has been taped up, which is sort of something you expected, that they were going to put police line tape up because there's been a crime. Walking in, To your left, Bloomfeld is down in his office. The door is open, and there's a fairly run-of-the-mill police investigator who's scratching notes on a little notepad.
I'll call through the trailer. Mr. Bloomfield, I'm here. Hi, and offer a hand to the investor. Hi, Elliot Winters with the U.S. Department of State.
Department of State? You see this African-American gentleman sort of peek up his eyebrows. Elijah. Detective Elijah Hayden.
Nice to meet you, sir. Mr. Bloomfield here gave me a call, asked me to come out, so that's why I'm here at this god-awful hour.
Yeah, it's a terrible thing. I'm surprised that State would probably take interest.
Well, nothing to do with whatever happened here. I took interest early. I visited earlier because we're looking into some missing kids in the area. Probably a case you're probably familiar with.
Yeah, I've heard about him. It's pretty unfortunate. Well, if there's anything I can help with, you just let me know. He does that sort of well-worn genuflect to pull out a business card and hand it to you.
Oh, thank you, Elijah. I appreciate it. Mr. Bloomfield mentioned maybe there were some questions or some concerns, and so if I can help in any way answer. I mean, I don't know what went on tonight, but I can tell you why I was here earlier, and if that helps with the sounds like someone might have got hurt here. We met a lot of the crew earlier today at lunch, and they seemed like a good crew, and I hate to think that some violence befell any of them.
Yeah, if you want to tell me what you were doing here, that might help.
We were doing a little background on this, well, not the renovation, but the Garretson Mansion itself. We had seen in our investigation of these missing kids that there might have been some triangulation and some activities that might have overlapped here with its previous owners and occupants. So nothing really current, but you know how you got to get some background. And when we came, Mr. Bloomfield over here mentioned that there had been quite a bit of activity here, some break-ins, some thefts, some vandalism. He was feeling that maybe the site wasn't secured and wasn't policed as actively as it should. He had a few little problems. So I told him that I talked to someone, but obviously I haven't gotten around to that. It was just earlier today when that happened. It sounds like the worst did befall them.
Yeah, it's I was talking with Mr. Bloomfield here, and Thomas's injuries to the eye. Mr. Bloomfield, Elijah sort of turns to him. You'd mentioned something about raccoons? You see Bloomfield give a very slow and almost mechanical nod. Oh, yeah. They've been all over the place, and the word is the people, a couple of streets and alleys over, they've had some run-ins with them too, and pretty nasty in this area. I mean, if the New York City rats are anything, the raccoons are the next predator in line. Elijah sort of furrows his brow a little bit and turns back to you.
What was his eye injury? What happened? Saying a raccoon attacked. I saw this young man. He was pretty strong. You saying a raccoon killed this man today?
I don't know about killed. I'm not willing to make that leap of logic. Something clawed this man's eye out. That much is clear. We found excess tissue from the body, and it looked like, and this is the strangest thing, it looked like someone had tried to help close up his wounds, these scratch marks. Someone had tried to, it couldn't have been Thomas. Someone tried to help him.
Oh, so he's probably here with someone. He took the worst of the attack. The friend, I'm sorry, I'm not doing your job here. Just speculation. The friend tried to, well, who called you? Someone called you. Did they have an alarm on the site?
You hear Bloomfield cut in. Now, unfortunately, we had to turn off the alarm system because the servicing company was charging us $500 for every single false alarm. Elijah returns to the forefront of the conversation and says, I don't know who called it in just yet. We're trying to get a bead on that number. I'm waiting for the precinct to report come that in, but we did send in. They just left a fingerprint team to comb over the place. They pulled some prints from it, but it's a construction zone, so it's real hard to tell who was where and when. A couple of boot prints.
You got everyone in and out. I mean, I was all in and out there earlier today. I'm going to get my prints in there too. You got the entire crew. Good luck to them. I hope they figure out something to help. But man, that's an uphill battle. You and I both know.
It's unfortunate. The place is so close to being done, and now it looks like it's going to have to wait a little bit.
Yeah, this will put a stop to all forward motion. Elijah's been, circumstances being what they are, it's been a pleasure meeting you again. And here, I have a card too, and I give him my Department of State card.
Mm-hmm. He takes it.
Because Elliot likes to give everyone his phone number, his contact information. It's just, he's friendly like that. I don't see how I can be of any help, but if you come up with anything, please give me a call. And if there's nothing else, I'd love to have a little word with Mr. Bloomfield before I take off, if that's all right with you.
Certainly. Elijah gives you a half salute with your card in his hand, and he tucks it into his jacket pocket and heads out of the construction trailer.
I look at Bloomfield.
He turns to you.
Well, that was much less painful than I was expecting based on the call earlier. It must have quieted down some.
Well, a lot of the local precinct guys have been here before for different disturbances. This isn't the first time Elijah's been on site.
Maybe they'll take some of your concerns a little bit more seriously. Speaking of, Maxie, have any ideas? Do you have any ideas about what we talked about on the phone?
Yeah. He turns back to his desk and picks up a radio, and you hear him push down on the talk button. He says, "All right, Maxie, come on into the trailer." Maybe a minute or so flies by, and the trailer door opens, and you see Maxie step in, wearing the same clothes you saw him in earlier today, like he hadn't changed. He's got a pair of work gloves in his back pocket. Evening.
It is an evening. It's not good. You definitely have an infestation in that house. That is for sure. And I don't think what happened tonight can leave any doubt in your mind. There's something dangerous in there. Are we all in agreement on this? Is anyone harboring any doubts that something is wrong in that house?
Yeah. I'm not a special investigator, but I don't think it takes that to see what's going on here. I mean, he sort of, again, defers to Bloomfield and says, "We've been all over this for months now. The missing tools, the stuff that's been ripped apart. It's like this place is cursed." You see Bloomfield kind of crinkles his nose a little bit at the word cursed. No, I don't know if it's cursed, but I do know that something's not right. And now we got somebody dead.
You get me into that basement?
Maxie says, "I can get you into the place that we filled in. That was the basement. We can go into the first floor and we can pull up floorboards if that's what you want to do."
No, I don't want to tear the whole place down. What I want to do is find the room that I got an eyeball of when I went into the sewers. I believe what you're saying. I mean, your crew seemed competent. You filled in the basement, but there is still there's a space down there. And I'm going to grab a piece of paper from one of the trailer desks and sort of map out. I went into an open manhole here. Here's where that fence is. Went in maybe this much distance. There's a gap here, and I could see something. I reached my entire arm in. I got scratched something fierce from, and I'm going to look up at Bloomfield, from probably a raccoon, and then fill in something over in that area. Is there anything that you've come across? Survey, excavation, anything that might lead you to suspect there's a gap, there's an opening, there's something that is not filled in that space.
Maxie takes a collection of plans off the shelf and spreads them out on the long table that's present here. And he sort of begins to line up some of your notes with some of the spots in the ground level. And he says, we had a little trouble right here. He points to like the furthest point back of the ground floor. The ground floor piece that Maxie points out is up these wide steps that make up the main entrance. You go through a vestibule and then the entrance all the way until there's this lounge space, which has got to be clearly positioned towards the back of the building. This is where the fireplace is. It's sort of adjacent to where Tomas was found. And he says, we had a hard time getting enough concrete poured into the basement. It got to be one of the things where you were pretty sure everything was filled in. That's why we tell people that there's no basement, because it's all been filled in. There are probably a couple of pockets back here where it didn't completely get filled in. But if you want to get to them, he looks at Bloomfield, we're talking about ripping the floor up, saws and everything, and then try to basically pound through the concrete that was poured on top of it to get into these pockets. It's a lot of work, and it's going to put us way behind.
All I got is that. That's our next thing to try and give us a sense of what might be happening, where these kids might be taken. We think we've got about a week. Maybe we can go in through the yard. Well, if we don't go through the house, got an excavator, maybe we could backhoe the backyard.
Yeah, I mean, we've got the ability to call in big digging tools, but all that stuff's been gone for a couple of years now. Maxie turns to you, Winters, and says, I've seen a lot of stuff go on in this place. When I was framing up on the third floor a couple of months ago, somebody went in and fooled with my work. I know this for sure because Martina said that the measurements, which I triple checked, didn't work for her cuts. We were just framing up doors. I redid the measurements, and then she redid the cuts, and after that it seemed to work. But I'm telling you, I'm not 2 inches over. You know what I mean? I take real pride in what I do, and there's no way that I was 2 inches off.
So Max, if I'm reading you right, somewhere in that house there's a few inches of space that became unaccounted for.
I think so.
It's a start. Something we can work with.
All right. What's your play from here then? You want to go back in there?
I kind of do. I mean, I'm already here. If police have been here, they're going to come back probably tomorrow. They're going to be more observant because now they've got a sense of the place from the initial investigation. Tomorrow, they're going to be mapping. They're going to be doing grids. They're going to be doing all the same kind of... I think tonight's the only time we got a chance. Start messing with stuff tomorrow, they're going to notice it.
Okay. Well, Bloomfield looks at his watch. It's 11:30 now. My guess is you've got 4 hours, roughly, until this all goes down.
You give me them 4 hours, I'll use them, Maxie. I'll use them, Bloomfield. And if I can determine there's nothing here, I'm out of your hair. And I owe you big time. We'll try and track down, figure out what the heck happened to Tomas and give him some peace, some rest.
I've already had a call with his mother. She is, as you can imagine, pretty tore up about everything.
Yes, I can imagine. I've had several of those calls in my life as well. If you're willing to go, I'm ready to go to work.
You've got the building if that's what you want. 4 hours, that's what you get. The crew here probably comes 5:30. They'll be here. They start at 6.
And so I'll get on my phone as I'm walking out towards the building, and I'll call up Brett, since that's the last number, and let it ring.
What time is it right now?
It's about 11 o'clock.
Okay, I'm still up. Hey.
This is all cleared up over here at the site, but they're letting me back in. I'm going to go take a look at the third floor. It sounds like, based on one of the people that's still here, that they've lost a few inches in terms of finishing the place and closing the place up. I'm going to open up some walls. If I find anything, I'm going to call you back.
What do you mean they lost a few inches?
They did their measurements to figure out how big the rooms were when they were finishing them. When they went back, those measurements were off. And I mean, these are professionals. That doesn't happen. And they're pretty certain, not certain that they would go to a foreman and say, hey, something messed up, but they're pretty certain something happened to not account for a few of these inches in the walls. I'm thinking maybe there's a gap, maybe there's an opening, maybe there's a way down into this basement, etc. Whatever. I'm just going to go take a look at it. If I find anything, I'll call you.
All right, I'm on my way.
Oh, or come.
Yeah, no, you're not doing this by yourself. What the fuck?
All right. I wasn't going to tell you to come on this goose chase, but I do appreciate it. I'd much rather have you here.
Yeah, I'd like to go, if that's okay.
I'm not going to stop you. My question is that when you get off the phone after these two other agents you're sitting with have heard the one half of this conversation and you get up to go, what are the other two agents doing?
Well, I'm going to tell them. I'm going to be like, Winters needs backup down at the mansion. I'm gonna head out.
Well, pretty sure you're not going alone.
I'm not going alone. I'm gonna go back up Winters.
Yes, and at least I'm coming with you.
Do you feel up for that? Is that wise?
Yeah, it's fine.
All right.
Yeah, no, I'm in too.
All right, Scooby Snacks, let's get in the frickin' mystery van and let's go do the thing.
All right, so watch this. Alakazam, you're all together at site.
We roll up on the site.
Just for Winter's sake, Bloomfield and Maxie leave. Maxie leaves a ball bat with you. A good old-fashioned Louisville slugger. Looks like it's seen probably more than a few games of stickball here in the New York City area. And it is well worn. All of the wood is nice and smooth, especially at the handle. And there's even a little bit of leftover grip tape.
Before Maxie leaves, I would like to make sure I have, they had the plans that very clearly marked out. Here's where these measurements didn't make sense. Probably gonna be that damn room 35. But I do want to make sure that they don't leave. That Maxie, it's a he doesn't leave without all that info.
Yeah, I mean, he shows you on the construction plans where he's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And even points out the doors. And as your brain watches his fingers walk through the plans on the third floor, he goes right to the door that Hart was passed out in front of.
And when everyone collects and returns, and I'll relay the entire conversation, and I will also make sure everyone understands that where we're going is exactly where Agent Hart was passed out on the ground last night, and where I had heard some terrifying talk from that voice.
Well, I feel like it's probably better that we're all here then, right? We can maybe help distinguish if something is really there or not really there. And I think that needs to be a key factor here. Is if you hear something, you need to make sure that everyone else hears it too. There can't be any hearing something and running off on your own. We got to make sure what's real is real and what's not is not.
Yeah, see something, say something.
Yes.
The reapproach to the building is a little tricky. The last time you were in here, you went through the side door. It's also the way you went out. If you choose to continue to take those more familiar steps, great, no problem. You see the police tape, you go right around it or under it. It's not a big deal. That said, there is now a bitter, coppery smell in the air here in the first floor. There's an enormous red stain on the ground where Tomas's body once was. You can still remember his physical convulsions and his eye literally squirting blood all over the place. That greets you, whether you want it or not, on the first floor. Past that, it's stairs because there is no elevator.
I'm gonna walk back up the stairs.
Go inside. Yeah. Creep up the stairs. I think we're going listening, checking the corners, but I don't know. I think it's less scary now that I've encountered the nonsense there. I'm not looking for the jump scare anymore. I'm expecting it.
And unfortunately for you, it doesn't materialize on the second floor. There is no jump scare. The building is still dark. I assume the agents are prepared in case something does jump out. I can imagine you all in proper tactical procedures waiting to just shoot something. That would make a lot of sense. But getting up to the third floor is different. Just walking up the stairs, the air thickens a little. And Ward, your pulse rises considerably. Because your memory is of you going up these stairs. And it's really about at the top of the stairs where your memory just sort of gets fuzzy as to what happened.
Do I freak out at all? Like, visibly?
Do you visibly freak out? I'd say with a power of 16, there's no roll required. You don't go into some sort of strange, uncontrollable panic attack. But it's not like your palms aren't sweaty. It's not like you can sort of get the bitterness out of your throat a little bit, but you're suddenly very thirsty. It's hard to swallow. But you make it up to the top of the stairs. Elliot, I'm going to assume that you're in the lead unless you're going to tell me differently. Where are you heading?
I think once we get to the third floor, feeling the change in the dynamics, I'm going to offer up this baseball bat to Dr. Weber, who has previously shown very uninterested in guns, and pull out my gun, my service weapon. And yeah, I'm heading straight to 35.
Okay.
I'm thankful for being given this weapon instead of a gun. Yes, that's true.
You actually feel a little bit safer with a ball bat.
Mm-hmm.
Guns are not really your forte. So for 35, there's definitely something a little strange about this space. This is, as was mentioned before, this is one of the least finished properties. It's about a 600 foot or so studio apartment. It's got new paned, energy efficient windows. It has a space for a stove. You can see it there. Bathroom ready for a sink, shower, toilet. There's definitely still something off about this space, Elliot. You can tell that not all of the bells and whistles are done here. Hasn't all been wallpapered. Hasn't all had its trim put on. So I'll just say, especially for you, Agent Ward, crossing the threshold of this studio apartment sends chills through your body.
So, knowing that I was attacked in this room, right? Like post finding everything out, is my blood still on the floor?
Oh, yeah. Right next to the sledgehammer.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get that fucking sledgehammer.
You start feeling this very similar uneasiness, Brett. There's something that's not right about this room, and it fucking creeps you out.
Checking doors and corners. That's where they get you. I got my pistol out.
Can I, as Hart is going to pick up the sledgehammer, go back to back with her, baseball bat in my hands, just ready for maybe her to freak out or something to come up from behind, and I would probably just be checking in with her like it's cool, everything's fine. I don't hear anything. I don't see anything right now. It's just fine. It's everything. We're good.
Yeah, so far, anyway.
So what are you doing in here? Now remember, it's dark, all except for the flashlights that those of you who have them are using. So there is no power in here either. You can't turn the lights on.
Do I smell anything weird?
Yeah, blood. It's on the floor here.
Okay.
You also see on one portion of the floor here, scratch marks. Tiny little scratch marks.
Like tracks?
No. No, like an animal was digging in for traction.
Oh. Can I check the ceiling?
Sure. You check the ceiling. You whip your light up. Gun ready. Are those marks on the ceiling?
Oh, fuck that shit.
Yeah. Yeah. You take a step back because you see that they move towards the window all along the ceiling there, like a perfect pattern. And then they get to the crack. They get to the 90 as the wall goes down, and the marks just disappear.
Hey, yo. These things, there's marks on the ceiling. Like, these things are... Don't just keep your eyes down.
I immediately look at the ceiling.
Yeah, no, as soon as you say there's tracks on the ceilings, I look up. That's what anyone would do.
Yeah, exactly.
You look up, and now a couple of lights shine on the ceiling, and there are telltale, almost like red little footprints all over the ceiling.
They're red from my blood, aren't they?
It sure looks like it.
Yeah, that's cool.
But raccoons aren't known to climb upside down, are they? Like, not like a possum or...
I mean, it's certainly not impossible. They would have to be a very strong raccoon to be able to carry all the excess weight.
Can we follow these bloody raccoon paw prints anywhere across the ceiling? Or what kind of ceiling is this, Mike? This is a drop ceiling? We can get up in that bad boy? Or
No. This is way too fancy for drop ceiling.
It's popcorn.
It's not popcorn, actually. It's a nice finished ceiling with crown molding here.
Ooh.
I mean, the Garrettson mansion is pretty bougie, to be honest. All the finishes, all the turns in here are all a AAA plus look. Mahoganies, brass, extra trim pieces that you wouldn't normally put in a place, but this place sort of does that. And that's sort of what throws this room off a little bit, is that none of that stuff, none of the real high-end stuff has been done in here yet. Your unease grows, all of you. It sort of feels like there's something in a corner you can't see looking at you.
I turn in a circle. I've got my flashlight and I'm corners and walls and up. And as I'm feeling this, I'm taking a couple deep breaths to stabilize myself.
All right. I'd like all my agents to roll their Constitution ×5. Tell me what they get.
I rolled a 91 over 75.
Oh, is that bad?
It's the number.
It is a number. Okay, so Agent Winters?
Rolled a 17 under 60.
Okay.
I rolled a 35 under 85.
Very good. Brett?
And this was on, you said Constitution?
Yeah.
Okay, I rolled a 69 over 60.
Okay. So, Dr. Weber and Agent Hawking, you're going to have to spend a willpower point or flee the room. The uneasiness boils over in you. Dr. Weber, you get so scared you want to vomit. You get that scared.
Yeah. You maybe even hear Dr. Weber, like, her gut clench up and suck in as, like, her body's trying to expel whatever it is that seems to be poisoning how she's feeling. She's going to spend the willpower point. I'm going to spend the willpower point. I'm sticking it out.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I'm just going to be like, I'm just going to make that weird sound. That's the sound of me spending a willpower point.
Okay. Agent Hart, you're in sort of a different place now. You feel it start all over again. You sort of feel like a wobbly joystick, like kind of an old Atari machine. You sort of broke loose of your mental moorings a little bit, and you slide back and forth, left and right. You don't really have full control of your physical faculties, but you don't think anyone has noticed. And then again, you don't think they're yours, really. This really isn't you, and you're not sure you mind that.
It's probably a comfortable place right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It is. Elliot, you spot something on one of the walls. There's a recessed piece of wood along one of these walls. You're pretty sharp-eyed, and you pick it out. It's 3 feet by maybe 4 feet. It looks like a piece of the wainscoting that's been put up here. It's just not exact. And you remember what Maxie had said about this room, that they had roughed in some of the doors here, and that, you know, one of the people who, Martinez, who helped work on this place, came back and told him that his cuts were all off. And this door that you look out of, you sort of trace the lines, right, from this door that you entered in. And this piece of wainscoting is in the direct opposite of that door. It also lines up with the back of the Garrettson mansion.
Here. Yo, snap out of it. Come on. This place is terrible, I get it. But I think this is what Maxie was talking about. Look at this right here. I'm going to go over and I'm going to put my hands on this wainscoting. I'm going to try press it or pull it or knock on it, see if it sounds different. This is, Maxie was talking about the measurements a couple inches up. I think this is kind of what he was describing.
So it's interesting because when you put your hands on it, you feel it move all of a sudden. And you can feel in your left hand, these left fingertips that touch that side of the wainscoting, you feel something metal there. It feels like a hinge.
Hawken, Hart, give me a little cover. This, I think this moves.
I'm going to point my gun at the place where you got your fingers.
And if I can sort of zero in on a hinge, I'm going to go towards the other side of that recess and see if I can pull that out.
Yeah, there's a swing hinge here. This piece of wainscoting you think could be flipped down?
Okay, look at here. I think this moves. Anyone see how this works? How this operates?
I could operate it with a bat if all else fails, possibly.
Let me be clear with you, Agent Winters. Are you attempting to pull it down?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Swing it open, pull it down. Yeah, I'm attempting to manipulate this thing.
So you flip it down and you see that there is a series on the back. A couple of things you see. One, the backside of this board, this wainscoting piece, is covered with all sorts of different geometric patterns. Cuts have been made in it, not with a saw, but with something more exact, more precise. Secondly, the space inside the wall is black like a chalkboard black. So when light eventually shines on it, which of course it's going to because you're being covered by other people, you see that there's some sort of inner space there. Like there's a pocket inside this wall.
I think when it opens and flips down and all that, I'm going to take probably a couple reflexive steps back. And there's going to be a little bit of a shake. I'm going to try and get that under control as I'm waiting for some horror to... Well, as I'm waiting for a raccoon to come out and eat my face, as I had that earlier close encounter.
To really get this piece off of the wall, yeah, you'd have to disconnect the hinges to get it fully off to look at this plate. Nothing stirs from within this darkened space. Or yeah, I suppose you could beat it off the wall. I'll say that if you're planning on using Maxie's bat, you could probably break the hinges that are here to get it off the wall.
Winters, you want me to take care of those hinges for you? I think I pretty good swing.
Yeah, I mean, if you can do it without damaging whatever that is, yeah. I'm fine. I'm just, I need a moment. It's coming all over me after everything that's happened tonight.
Dr. Weber takes the bat and goes to Pound Town.
Okay. I mean, given the size of it, it doesn't take you too many swings to get the pounding done. In doing so, you detach this wainscoting piece from the wall, and it sort of lands on the floor clearly with Agent Winters assisting to make sure it doesn't break or anything like that. A note for you, Agent Winters, is that this piece, once detached, is not light. This piece of wood has to weigh 20, 25 pounds. It is super heavy. And these lines on it are really strange. None of them make much sense at all.
I will carefully pull this and move this away from the wall and closer towards the door that we had come in, and set it up against the wall, and then take my flashlight and aim it at the black wall that was revealed. Do y'all see that? Does that look weird to you? Is it painted?
Agent Hart, you hear, we're inside. You just have to reach out and touch it. We're not far.
Is that coming from the direction of this painting seal thing?
No. The impression you get is that it's coming from the wood.
Is there a roll that I can make to see if I can pinpoint like the exact place where it's coming from?
No, this is more of a premonition. It's a mental impression you're getting.
Okay. I'm gonna stare at the floor and kind of take a couple steps.
Okay. Take a couple steps where? When? How? I'll need a little bit more than that.
I'm gonna go just like to the left of where the group is to at least start with, to see if there's like a hole in the floor, probably near a wall or pretty close to a wall anyway. May not be directly like in the floor, in the angle of where the floor and the wall meet, but I'm gonna look for a hole.
Okay. You look around for a hole. The mental urging sort of continues, and it keeps drawing your vision, your eyesight, back to the now very little illuminated piece of wood that Agent Winters pulled off the wall. As for the rest of you, the hole is dark. It goes in a little, probably a little bit. Getting close to it, though, is a little difficult for you, Agent Hawking, because the way this is painted, you can't really tell how deep it is. It's one of those things. You really have to probably put your hand in to see if you could get to the bottom of it.
Yeah, that sounds like a terrible idea. Can I pull out a flashlight?
Oh, there are already lights on it. But yeah, you can pull out a flashlight, sure.
Yeah, I want to do that whole cross gun flashlight thing.
Well, that's cool.
I saw that on a movie one time. So I can't see anything in there except for this like optical kind of scenario in there where I can't really get very far.
You know what it feels like, Brett? It feels like a haunted house. It feels like this is some sort of weird optical illusion. And like your light goes in, but it doesn't completely get to the back. You don't reach the bottom.
Can I pull any more of the wall off around that hole?
I mean, it's covered in wainscoting, so you'd have to pull the wainscoting off and then the wall apart after that.
All right, this is where we have a small problem where I'm dumb and I don't know what wainscoting is.
That's okay. So wainscoting is basically wood paneling that usually comes up from the bottom of the floor, just above the trim. It could be 4 or so feet high. It's basically decorative wood. It's usually reasonably thin, depending upon the working material and the price, and with a chair rail on top of it, which is another decorative wood piece.
I'm guarding the piece of wood. I'm just standing by the door with this piece of wood.
Okay.
Hawking, do you think that's a laundry chute?
I don't know. I've never had a laundry chute. Is it? I'm gonna look inside. I'm going to get close enough to look inside. I'm going to get right up on it.
Right up on it?
Well, there could be babies in there.
Brett, I just want to tell you, I once had this dream that I looked down a laundry chute and the part, I cut my head off in the laundry chute, so just be careful.
Weber, I fucking love you, but don't fucking talk about laundry chutes while in this basement right now.
I hate laundry chutes.
Okay, you get closer, Agent Hawking, to this laundry chute. You get closer, and you realize that as you get closer, your flashlight flickers a little bit.
No, you fucking shitting me?
Like, it doesn't really seem to give off the same amount of light that it did before. And then a claw comes out and smashes you in the face. And now I'll roll. Thanks for getting close. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. I'm here to support the team.
Ooh, boy, that's not good.
Do I get a roll defensively for dodge? Did I just get punched by a baby?
No, but go roll dodge. We'll see what happens.
19 under 58 for dodge.
That is an excellent roll. It does not keep you from getting scratched.
It's okay. Is it like make it not so deep?
It's definitely not as damaging as it could be.
Okay.
A very tiny, tiny paw comes out, quicker than lightning, and scratches you right across your right cheek. You see it just for a moment. You try to dodge out of the way. You see the flash of the two red eyes, and you get scratched. Everyone here sees this, really except Agent Hart, who's not paying attention to it.
Yeah, I just hiss and spit. Do I take damage?
Yeah, you take 2 points of damage.
Does Hawking like pull? I'm assuming pull back out from the laundry chute, or is your head still in there? Because my thought is, if Hawking pulls out, then Weber would take the bat and would just be like swinging it around wildly in this hole. It would be like someone ringing a triangle. I'd be rimming the hole.
I did dodge, so I assumed that I was pulling out as hard as I could.
Right. So you pull out as hard as you can, and Weber comes in and sort of with that hefty piece of wood just rims the hole as hard as she can. I guess if you'd like to give me it's a melee weapons test.
Yep, and I will be rolling that. Roll the 4.
Oh, shit.
Under 30.
I'm going to roll dodge. Oh, that's not good for them. So I am going to have you roll a D3 for your big old slugger bat.
I rolled a 1.
Okay. Fantastic. You hear likely the most disturbing noise you've heard in, say, the past few minutes. You hear a yipe.
Like a small raccoon animal?
Like, ah!
Like a human?
Like it vocalizes like a person.
And I go, ah! Back at it.
Okay.
What the fuck? Who are you? Wait, hold on. First, did everyone hear that? That's the first rule. Did you hear someone like, ah?
Did I hear that?
Maybe? You think so?
I imagine that I turn around and I'm confused as fuck about all of this racket that's happening behind me.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, the rest of you heard the reaction from inside the wall. You now hear scurrying inside the wall.
How big of a scurry? Like teeny tiny little scritchies of little raccoon paws? Or are these like person hands?
I would say it's like a large scratching sound.
Okay.
I want to let off a round into that fucking wall so bad right now.
Do it. Go for it. Do it.
No, people are going to hear it. I feel like my brain is like, people are going to hear it. And then the clock of when the cops show up is going to start. I don't want to.
That's fun.
What's going on over there?
I am yelling at the wall. I'm like grunting at it.
So what in the world is happening? There's this huge racket.
There's something in the fucking walls, Hart.
Okay, which way did it go?
Into the wall.
I don't know, dude. You can hear it scurrying around in there and shove a bat in there, and I hit something. And they're scurrying, and he yelled at me. It's like a person. It's not a raccoon. It's a person voice. Oh my God, Hawking, maybe you're right. Maybe they're turning people into raccoons at this fucking point.
What are you doing, Winters?
If no one is going to do this, I'm going to do what Brett just said he wants to do.
I was just going to start tearing this wall apart.
I don't think that is the idea. I think the idea is that they're going to use weaponry.
Yeah.
Brett, are you going to shoot this thing or what? It already killed a boy earlier today, and it just took off half your face.
You are getting blood in your eyes now, Agent Hawking. Look, the scratches a couple of them are above the eyebrow.
Can I squeeze in this hole?
I mean, is it possible? Yes. It'd take a little bit of maneuvering, but yes, you could probably fit yourself inside this hole.
How deep is this hole possibly be?
Well, given the wall that it's on, and it's possible it's a couple feet thick. Could be 3 feet thick.
Okay, that's not even my body length. Yeah, I'm getting in the fucking hole.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to rip some shit out of the wall. We're gonna rip this wall open. I'm angry.
Okay, so you're diving into the wall then?
Yeah, and I'm just grabbing whatever I can grab, and I'm pulling, I'm tearing. I'm gonna lose a few fingernails in here. I'm fucking pissed.
Let me just make sure that we're clear on this.
Yes, the gun is in my hand.
Okay, so the gun is in your hand. Is the flashlight in your hand? Okay, the flashlight's in your mouth. The gun is in your hand. I just want to make sure that we're clear on some of these things.
Yes, I'm gonna use my elbows. And I'm gonna wiggle my butt.
Okay. You dive into the hole. Now, for those agents who are not in the hole, one thing that you would notice is this hole, especially you, Elliot, this hole is much larger than the access point that was in the arcade room. So it is completely feasible that if, as you immediately think this as soon as Agent Hawking dives in, is we're 3 floors up. And now you're in some sort of passage or some sort of empty space here in the middle of the building. So what I'm going to ask from you, Agent Hawking, is an athletics roll. Because I think that this is a little bit more complex maybe than the, we'll just say, emotionally or mentally irrational person first imagined.
And I'm going to yell out, grab him, and start dashing across the room. Because I did this exact thing earlier, but it was much safer because I wasn't as high and it was much smaller. So I wasn't going to slide if I happened to be able to slide. So I will think this, oh shit, he's going to fall 3 stories, 30 feet, crush his skull. Stop him, hold him. And I'm going to run over and try and grab his legs.
Yeah, I'm gonna need you to do that because I rolled a 92 over 30 on athletics.
Okay. Oof. Okay, so I am going to say if you want to grab...
Weber's probably closer, maybe Hart.
Weber is closer. Hart is definitely not close enough.
Yeah. If he's falling, I would drop the bat and try to grab him.
Okay. You drop the bat and you're going to try to grab him. Because I think it might be fun, I am going to have Dr. Weber roll me a Dex ×5 roll.
Okay.
Are you also going to assist in keeping Hawking in place, Winters, from falling, or?
I'm going to try and cross the room as fast as possible and then help and try and assist, yes, if that's possible.
So I rolled a 4. Again, I think that's what I rolled last time, too.
So you leap into action, Agent Weber, and you grab a hold of one of Brett's legs. A couple of moments later, Elliot, you grab his other leg. With a roll like Weber made, she's got him suspended enough to it. He's not going to completely fall through this empty space in the walls here. But that really isn't the problem for you. Agent Hawking. What's the problem for you at this current juncture is, well, they come in pairs and they're red. And there's an awful lot of pairs of red eyes in the wall here. And they're all looking at you.
Can I empty my fucking clip?
Oh, 100%. You start ripping rounds off as best you can. And as you do, you get rushed by many of these eyes. And claws and teeth start ripping into your clothing and into your body. And the sheer sound that Brett begins to make from the inside of this wall, all the banging and the terrifying shrieks. It's truly something. So, rather than push this into a ton of sort of needless rolls, I'm going to ask for two very important things. One, what is the reaction of Dr. Weber and Agent Winters when the gunfire and the shrieking begin? And then two, what are you doing, Agent Ward?
I'm just going to start polling. Like, if I hear gunfire and Hawking's in an enclosed space and I don't know what's on the other side of that enclosed space, I'm yanking. I'm trying to pull him back away from whatever he's shooting at.
Winters? Same?
I'll do the same. Brett, we got you. We're going to get you out.
So, Brett, you will be dealt some damage. We'll get to that a little later. You will also deal some damage, as many of the rounds that you fire off from your service pistol are going to find their way home, because there's not a whole lot of places to dodge gunfire in this space. So what I'll do is I'll say that you can likely make 3 damage rolls. We'll account for some of the shots landing and some of them going wild. And then what I'll do in reciprocation is make 3 damage rolls on you.
Okay, let's see here. So these aren't rolled to hit. These are roll for damage.
These are roll for damage, just because I'm going to make the assumption, given the amount of targets, that you'll be reasonably easy to hit at least something. D10, sir.
Nice. Okay. Fucking 10. Fucking 4. Fucking 7.
You hear a lot of squeals as well. So those are some noises that everyone up here hears, is squeals. And for you, Agent Hawking, yeah, that's not great for you, Brett. I'm going to deal you 8 points of damage. When you pull him up, Dr. Weber and Agent Winters, it's like pulling somebody that's come out of a slaughterhouse. He is riddled with bite marks and cut marks, all sorts of little tiny just rakes across his clothing. And then obviously for you, Agent Hawking, you're not in a great place.
No, I've got 1 hit point.
Oh shit. We've got more isopropyl alcohol at the hotel, right? It'll be fine. I pull Hawking out and kind of toss him on the floor and begin taking a survey of the wounds and seeing if I can, I don't know, put pressure on any. Like, I'm not trained in first aid. I'm not that kind of doctor, but I'll put pressure on anything that needs pressure on it.
Yeah. So for the first thing I'm going to have Agent Hawking do is make me a con ×5 test. He has been reduced to 2 or fewer hit points, which means it is quite possibly he will be permanently injured.
All right, I rolled a 4.
Well, that's fortuitous. So you are not permanently injured, but you are unconscious.
So I didn't lose an ear.
You did not. You also didn't lose a nose or an eye.
That's good.
But you are unconscious. That is what you know.
Jesus Christ. Weber, you got him. Hart, help me cover this hole. I'm just standing there. I got my gun out and I'm waiting, and if anything peeks its head over, I'm going to shoot, but I'm also stepping back away from this hole now. That is obviously a hamburger helper machine.
Yeah, I will pull Hawking, if I can, away a little bit and just try to tend to any wounds. Because I don't know if we're going to be able to get him out of here right now. I mean, we only have a limited amount of time in the house before things go sideways, and I don't know if we can make an expeditious retreat right now.
That's a great question. Agent Hart, for you, what Winters is saying makes total sense. Cover the hole.
Yeah. Do I still hear anything coming from the hole?
Chittering, maybe crying. I think that's a very subjective term I'll use. Crying. It doesn't really sound human. It's more like a animal. Or is it? Something terrible has happened in that hole and something is in pain.
So I will more than likely wander over with the sledgehammer still in hand.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to smash this back in to cover the hole, Agent Winters?
Well, damn sure don't make that hole bigger. Whatever's in there just tore up Brett like nobody's business.
Well, yeah, I can see that.
No, just help make sure nothing comes out. I don't know. We need to take that with us, Hart. It means something. All these markings on the other side. It's son of a bit. Is there anything else in this room, Handler?
Well, one agent that's bleeding very badly. Like when you say what else is in this room, it's a studio unit, right? So it's 600 square feet in a space, right? There's a lot of spaces for things, but it's like this one isn't finished. There's the wood door that Weber knocked off the wall that has those strange sort of, it has a blackened back. It's got strange geometric patterns that are cut into it.
It's not finished, but there's not active construction. There's not like a 50-pound bag of plaster in a corner.
Nope.
Or, maybe 10 jerry cans of gasoline sitting in the closet.
Suspiciously, no. There's no, bucket of oil just hanging out somewhere.
All right, Hart, give me a second. I'm going to get my phone out, set the board down. I'm going to try and take a picture of all these geometric drawings.
Okay.
What is this, 2004 or 94?
This is 1997, Agent.
97. These are shitty cameras, but it is what it is.
They sure are.
Hart, here, help me with the light. And I'm going to try and take a few pictures and then, let's get the board back and wedge it in there.
Okay. Hart, how are you helping?
I'm going to hold a flashlight over it.
Okay. You take some pictures, Elliot, and then you're going to help him wedge it back into position, or are you going to take the board with you? What's the idea?
Oh, no, we're going to wedge it back into position like the original plan. I'm going to wedge it in there, and I'm going to smack each side with a hammer and kind of just hope that it stays in place. Obviously, there's damage to the wall.
Yeah, the trouble being is that the hinges that were connected to the wall have been knocked off with a ball bat by Agent Weber.
Yeah, so is it not flush?
Well, not now.
Okay. So you can't put it at an angle.
Well, you could. Yeah, you certainly could. You could sort of lean it up against there if you really wanted it to not. You have a little conundrum, I guess, about which side to show, because one is totally dark and then the other is wood. But if you flip it to the wood side and you lean it up against there, you're going to sort of expose the hole that's behind it. So I guess which side are you going to leave up? Because it's not going to sit flush in the position it was in on the wall now. And it was the trim at the bottom of that is at least 3 inches high. So there will be a gap no matter what.
I feel like it's probably in our best interest that whatever side the symbol is on is facing down against the hole. So that's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
And I'll assist to whatever degree I can.
Okay. You put it back as best you can. There is some irrevocable damage that has been done in this unit now, and so there's no way around that. There's no way to clean that up. Brett has bled out all over the floor, and there is now even more blood in this space. You, Agent Hart, when you put it back up against the wall, you hear a voice in your head that says, "Don't leave. You're so close."
All right, so I know that we have limited time, right? We don't have that much time before everything happens, and Hawking's hurt, and we should get him back to the hotel room, but we also need to see if we can't try to look into this a little more. So maybe
We just throw him in the car and then we can just continue on, because I think he's going to be okay.
yeah, I was going to say, or have Winters take him back to the hotel and treat his wounds and see if he can't, get him settled, and you and I stay and look around a little more.
I think that might be a waste of time. Not a waste of time, but I'm just saying we have limited time, and we might need Winters here.
Then, yeah, let's...
Just throw him in the car.
Winters, do you want him in your car?
I'm worried about the boy dying, so I'm going to pick him up and get him downstairs into the car as gentle as I can.
Okay.
That's a good point. Does it, as I've been applying pressure, does it seem like he's gonna die?
No.
He's fine.
You don't think he's going to die.
I think he'll be fine.
It looks like a bunch of scratches.
Yeah.
And I'll help Agent Winters carry him down. He already carried me all the way down the stairs. I don't think it's fair for him to have to carry another whole person.
You get Agent Hawking loaded into Winter's car in the back seat, I'd imagine, so he can lay down. So are you taking him somewhere for care then, Agent Winters?
Well, I just heard very unequivocally that he's going to be fine. He's not going to die on us. And since we're now back in the active construction site, I'm going to look around for some bags of cement.
Yeah, you find him.
All right, grab one of these each, and let's go up there. Because here's my thought. I still want to take that piece of wood, and we could wedge these bags in there, and those little raccoons ain't going to be able to get them bags out the way. Does that make sense? Do you like that idea?
I like that idea. I think the raccoons probably have other ways of getting out, but if that's what your main concern is, but maybe we don't want anyone to go in there, that's fine. We can just take the wall and put the bags in.
Yeah. There's something about that room. 35. I don't know why. I mean, we all felt it when we went in there. There's something strange about that. I didn't feel that when I went into Q*bert room until I destroyed Q*bert, and then I felt a great sadness hang over my heart. I don't know. Something about that 35. I feel like maybe it's the piece of wood that we're going to take with us. Now that I say that out loud, it's probably a bad idea. All right, let's do it. Grab these 50-pound cement bags and run upstairs and do this harebrained idea.
Okay. You pull the 20 or so pound piece of wood that has that black back to it with all the strange geometrica. You pull out that back and you've got your bags of concrete.
I'll give my bag to Winters to stuff in there. I'm going to pick up the wood that has the symbol on it, and I'm going to run my hand over it.
Mm-hmm.
Just to see how it feels and see if I get any more little voices happening in my head.
Oh, it feels fantastic. So what's going to happen is you're going to go on a little trip for me.
Oh, good.
You run your fingers through the geometria just to get a feeling of how well defined the cuts are. None of them are super sharp. They're actually all really well clean and beveled. So you're going to lose 2 points of sanity from experiencing something slightly unnatural. I think the word slightly is going to do a whole lot of work in this sentence in a second. You are going to lose a point of willpower. And then you are going to slip into this surface. That is the only way I can say it. So as you begin to trace what these patterns are, you fall forward while you're sitting there, sort of on your knees, tracing them. You fall forward into this space. The piece of wood falls onto the floor as Winters and Weber are sort of unloading their concrete into the wall. There's a big boom from behind you as a heavy piece of wood hits the floor, and Agent Hart is gone. And that is where we'll end this episode for this evening. So thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Operations with our friends in No-Sale. We look forward to a rather pleasant and fun game where nothing bad will happen next week.